Okay, before we get on to the primary tasks that you're going to be looking at today within your home learning for science, if you think about this cherry tree and these foxglove flowers, I'd like you to think, like we was mathematicians, what's the same about them, and then what's different about them? How are they the same? How are they different? So have a pause, have a think. Anybody thought about what's the same? So you might have noticed the color of the petals. You might have thought about them being different in terms of the height at which they grow. Have you identified the type of location they're in? The same task now for these next two plants. So if you look at the carpet moss and the pine tree, have a think about whether they'd be vascular or non-vascular plants. Have a think about whether they're flowering or non-flowering. What's the same about them? What's different about them? I'm really pleased that some of you will have identified that one of these is a non-vascular plant. Which of these two is a non-vascular plant? If you've identified the carpet moss as the non-vascular plant, well done. Okay, the pine tree is a vascular plant, has that stem, has those roots. However, the carpet moss doesn't. It absorbs its liquid and its nutrients in different ways. Okay, guys, your home learning today, your key tasks. As I mentioned again, you've got that synonym, antonym, and usage element to complete about our vocabulary looking at the botanist. Furthermore, I'd like you to try looking at these plants image that we've got to try and create your own classification tree. So if you remember when we looked in the slides at the classification tree of all plants together, we had non-vascular and vascular, and then we broke it down into subsections. Have a look at these flowering plants at the beginnings, including the ivy and everything, and see if you can sort those out. So you've got to kind of make your own up based on your own categorization, okay? If you want to do a bit of extra research on the nature of those plants, you can do, but actually just by looking at them and looking at the pictures within your work pack, you'll be able to subcategorize them. Furthermore, what I'd like you to think about is design us a garden. Okay, so if you think about a garden, I've just kind of given you a possible layout, a kind of bird's eye view of a possible garden. I'd like you to think about if you were designing, you might go for the same layout that I've done. It looks almost like a capital G. You're illustrating it, you're going to look at these different pictures you've got to the left, draw and create some of these in the subsections of the garden, and then you're going to label them. Now, for each of the plots, and in mine, there are 11 plots, I'd like you to have a different type of plant. So I want you to have maybe a vascular plant next to a non-vascular plant. Then within your non-vascular plant, sorry, after your non-vascular one, you might go to having a vascular plant with seeds. And then the next one needs to be a vascular plant without seeds. So you've got to keep going from type to type to type to type. Now, this garden might not be possible to make because some of these plants might not actually live in the location where the garden would live. But if you think about somewhere like Kew Gardens in London, they actually have little atmospheres which they place over elements of a garden that allows it to grow outside of its normal biome. So if we look at these 11 sections, I want you to draw and label the type of plant that's going to grow there, categorize it. So if it's vascular or non-vascular, if it has seeds or doesn't have seeds, if it flowers, doesn't have flowers. Maybe even when you're labeling it with your sharp straight line next to it, you explain why you've picked that one. Is it its aesthetic, what it looks like, or is it something else about it that it could grow fruit that would feed people? So your tasks then, to go back, first one, those synonyms, antonyms, usage. Second one, that classification tree, and then garden design. Okay, I look forward to seeing those completed garden designs. And I also look forward to seeing, so as I go through here, you can see the different sections you can divide that into. But I also look forward to seeing your faces again. It was really lovely this morning, just seeing you for the first Zoom call. It'd be great to see all of you tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.